Urban Therapy with Sun752, and this your daily go-getterism number 695 for August 27th. I'm sorry, August 28th, 2016. Tonight, I was actually kicking around a couple of topics that I wanted to do tonight, so I might try to tackle two of them in one video, and I don't want to make the video too long, but alright, this is how it's going down. The first topic I want to tackle is basically being poker faced, acting like it don't even matter to you. Now, when we start talking about this topic, when you have to keep a straight face when you know that you're in pain, when you know that you're hurt, when you know that you're feeling some kind of way about something, or even when you're happy, it's not a fun thing to have to do, but a lot of us have to do that because that's the position that we're put in. First of all, what it all boils down to is that you're hiding your emotions. And when you have to hide your emotions, that kind of tells you a lot about the situation that you're in. The only way that you would ever have to hide your emotions is if the emotions that you really feel are going to get you into some kind of trouble. Why would your emotions get you in some kind of trouble? It could be because somebody doesn't like the way that you feel, or the way that you feel reveals the truth in your emotions, and that might not be the best place for the truth. And that's just an actual fact about life. Sometimes the truth is not a good thing to tell at certain times. We would like to be able to be honest at all times, and some people claim to be honest at all times. But in reality, everybody has a time when they have to suppress the truth a little bit, when they have to not say everything that's going on with them. Imagine a world if we weren't able to not tell the truth. Like if we had to tell the truth every waking moment of our lives. Sort of like that movie. Remember that movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, where I think it was for like 48 hours, 24 hours or something like that. He had to tell the truth, and he was a lawyer. And lawyers often have to suppress the truth. And in the movie, he had to tell the truth for 24 hours, and he really, really struggled with that. In your own life, think about it. If you had to say exactly how you felt at all times, because sometimes to some people, being truthful about something has nothing to do with what you say. Sometimes it has more to do with what you don't say. So if somebody says good morning to you in the morning and you really don't like that person, normally you say good morning back. But imagine if it was like, fuck out of here. You know what I mean? And you actually said that. And the person might have been your supervisor, your boss, your manager, the owner, whatever. But you couldn't hold back because you had to tell the truth. But that's sort of the way it is when you start talking about acting like it don't even matter to you. Having the poker face. Anybody who has played poker knows that when you play poker, you don't want to show through your facial expression what's going on in your hand, because then that's going to let your opponent know how to bet against you. So if they think that you have a really good hand, they know not to keep betting, so that they'll lose their money. And if they know that you have a bad hand, then they know to keep upping the ante, because you're not going to win. You don't have a good enough hand to beat theirs. So in our regular lives, in our lives, there are times when we just have to put on a face like this. I don't even know if my facial expression shows that I'm not thinking about anything, because actually inside I am thinking about something. What I was thinking was, how long can I keep this face before I can just go ahead and talk again? And that's sort of like what it can be when you're in a relationship, when you're at work, when you're dealing with a friendship, when you're dealing with a partnership, when you're dealing with a whole lot of things. One of the biggest pitfalls about treating something like it don't even matter is that when somebody doesn't know what's going on with you, they can't help you. So you may be going through the biggest turmoil of your life. You may be really, really hurting inside. But because you're not showing it, nobody knows what's going on with you, so they're treating you as if it was any regular day, and they're just busting it up with you and acting like everything is alright with you, but it's not. And sometimes we resent that. because we think that we're giving off the energy like something is wrong with us, but we're not. So when people don't help us, some of us blame those people for not being there for us. You know, how many times have you heard people say, like, I help everybody else when they going through something. I was always there, but as soon as I'm going through something, nobody was there for me. It could be because you didn't say anything. It could be because you give off the type of energy that makes other people think that you can get over anything that you're going through in life. And maybe that's the case. Maybe you are a strong person like that, to whereas you bounce back fast. But that doesn't mean that you don't hurt inside. It doesn't mean that you just shake off the pain like it ain't nothing. That's not what it means at all. So, you know, the bottom line is that a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And if you want to get help with something, then you're going to have to, you know, show a little something. You're going to have to give people a little something. You know, people get frustrated when they show you their emotions all the time and then you give them nothing back, because they feel like you don't really want to hear anything that they have to say. You know, you need an exchange of emotions between people. And I guess I'm going to drop that right there. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that I did a show with my girl Tan's Millions today, and we were asking the question of, can a functional addict raise children effectively? Now, the short answer to that, as far as I'm concerned, is probably not. But I'm not going to say that it's totally impossible, because what it really boils down to is that you have to decide what is functional. Number one, functional to me, as far as being a drug addict or an alcoholic is concerned, means that you go to work every day, means that you pay your bills, means that you know, as far as your children are concerned, you make sure that they go to school, you make sure that they have the things that they need, you try your hardest to make sure that their physical needs are met. The hard part comes when you start talking about their emotional needs. You know, as children start to grow up, especially when they start growing into adolescence, they're becoming teenagers. And you know, a lot of stress comes along with being a teenager. A lot of people try to dumb that down, but it's true. Peer pressure, it causes a lot of stress with teenagers. Becoming interested in girls or boys. And nowadays, what we have to deal with a lot of times is sexual orientation. So if you are whacked out on drugs all the time, you're high all the time, or you're drunk all the time, you're not going to really be in the right mental state to be able to deal with these types of problems. As a matter of fact, you may use these types of things as an excuse to get high or drunk. People say it all the time. You know, this shit is driving me to drink. No, you drove yourself to drink. Those things should be driving you to get sober. Now, that's for me. I'm saying that the way I would have needed to be raised, I don't think that somebody who was getting high all the time or drunk all the time would have been able to raise me effectively. But my needs were my needs, and that doesn't mean that the needs of other people can't be met. You know, I may have been a little bit high maintenance as far as having a child is concerned, but maybe somebody else can get by with certain things. See, in a family, you have a certain culture. So the things that are shown to you in a family setting are the things that you're used to. So anything outside of that realm is foreign to you. So if you're raised, let's say you're Irish, and you know the Irish, they gets it in as far as that alcohol is concerned. So if you grew up in an Irish family, you may have been drinking beer in your baby bottle. Now, I'm not saying that all Irish drink, but they have a healthy respect for alcohol. They don't play. They drink. Seriously. You know, alcohol and Catholicism, that's how they get down. You know what I mean? Front on it if you want. So if you're raised around that environment, you may not even know what an alcoholic is, because you may be so used to being in that environment, it's second nature to you. It ain't no big deal. So you may feel like, yeah, my dad or my mom, you know, they got drunk all the time. That's what we do. We're Irish. So, you know, but I still turned out all right. And you may be a drinker on your way to becoming an alcoholic yourself. So there are different levels to what functioning means. Now, I understand the people who say that there's no such thing as a functional addict, but that's bullshit. And the reason that I'm going to say that is bullshit is because I understand that a lot of people have gotten clean off of drugs. I was a drinker myself, on my way to becoming an alcoholic. That doesn't mean that every time that I see somebody drinking, and just because they may have had a bigger problem than I had, it doesn't mean that they can't cope. It doesn't mean that they're not handling their business. It doesn't mean that they can't do the things that maybe I couldn't do when I was drinking. They may be able to do it. Like, I would never go to work when I was drinking. But some people don't go to work unless they're drinking. So they're able to get through the whole day like that. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. So that's part of them being a functional addict. They're able to perform certain daily tasks even under the influence. So they are functional. If you're dysfunctional, if your habit, your addiction has taken over your life, then you're not going to work. How many stone cold drug addicts do you know work a conventional job? They don't. And I know this for a fact. So, people can say what they want to say. There is a such thing as being a functional addict. And I'm not saying that that's the thing to be, but it does exist. So, can you raise your children that way? I wouldn't suggest it. I don't think that that's a good idea. Does it mean that your children will grow up to be messed up, or will it mean that they won't get their needs fulfilled? That's a judgment call. I can't really speak on that. I don't think it would have worked for me, but it may work for somebody else. Bottom line is, hey man, this world, you meet people, you see things, you learn things, and you have to roll with the punches sometimes. And it is what it is, yo. It is what it is. But that's what I'm talking about. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, we did two topics on this show. On this video. A closed mouth don't get fed. I understand that there are certain circumstances that happen in your life that make you put on your poker face and act as if nothing phases you. I know plenty of people out there who are hurting from a relationship, reeling from a relationship, but they don't want to show their emotions. They want to act like they just got over it like it ain't nothing. But anybody who has ever been with anybody for any length of time and has fallen in love with them knows that you start to depend on somebody when you get with them. And it's hard as hell to let go of that feeling. So you won't have to front. You can keep the poker face all you want. Somebody knows that you're hurting. If you've been with somebody every day and y'all all booed up, and now they gone, you can keep on that poker face all you want. We know you're hurting. I'm just wanting to let you know this is alright to show that. It's alright. And the other thing about the functional addict thing, like I said, I wouldn't recommend that you raise your children in while you are in your addiction. And I wouldn't suggest that you become an addict either. However, your life is your life, and you're going to lead it as you see it as such until you learn better. But just try to make sure that the children that you are raising, if you are steeped in your addiction, that means you have to work extremely hard to make sure that your children get the things that they need. But just remember one thing: they know what you do, and one day they might charge you for that shit. That's all I got to say about that. I ain't trying to say nothing else. I will say this though: the Mind Right Body Better Fitness program is going on, and we will be back tall in the saddle this next Saturday. So y'all make sure y'all get down with that, and I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all have a great night. Real great, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, pardon the little, this is a colon ream stain, This is from my smoothie. That's a colon ream stain. So it's whatever. It's whatever, man. It's whatever. That's, that's organic right there. Peace.